because sadly some of the Muslim rulers of India at that time didn't like this idea of a new religion. I mean, they said, no, we're not a new religion, we're the original old unity religion that's always been here. But for the Muslims, that was, no, that's heresy. You seem to be a new religion and we're not allowing that. So they tried to conquer them by force, whereupon the Sikhs said, we're not just going to take that. And they decided to arm and self-defend. And the 10th Guru, Gobind Singh, founded the Khalsa, which was a defence thing. So every Sikh male had to take an oath to protect the village, the community. And they had to train and learn how to use swords and guns and all that. Not because they liked fighting, but only in self-defence. And they managed to protect the Punjab, and it became a separate little enclave. And then after the 10th Guru had died, he said, there won't be any Gurus after me. From now on, it's just the sacred book, the Adi Granth, which is like their Bible, which I have. It's a beautiful, beautiful book, full of poetry and stuff. And most Sikhs follow that, Adi Granth. If you go in a Sikh Gurdwara, which is like the temple, they have this book on display. And when I went to Amritsar on pilgrimage, there's this beautiful... I wanted to take Sophie there so much because she heard all this, she loved all this, right? And she understood intuitively about the divine unity. And I wanted to take her there. And so there's a sacred lake, a bit bigger than our lake here in the village, but not much. And in the middle of it is a tiny island, and on that is a temple with a golden roof, like a pagoda made of pure gold. And inside that, all the time, every day and every night, from now until the end of the universe, there's the Adi Granth is being sung. And pilgrims come from all over the world and walk across the bridge to this temple island. And I did that, and you listen to the beautiful singing from this sacred book. So it's going on as we're speaking, right? I loved it. But the Namdaris are special because they say that before he died, Gobind Singh, as well as setting up the book and the temple and that, he also initiated a secret master, a person to carry on the teachings, like a lineage, initiated someone. And that was a sort of more secret thing because they wanted to keep it kind of undercover. They didn't want to get somebody arrested. And that was then handed down, that lineage, down to the present day. And Namdari means the bearers of the secret name of God. Nam is the name. And that was my student's guru, was the Grand Master of the Namdari Sikhs. And he wanted me to meet him.
Wow.
So they funded my airfare to India back in the 90s when I was working in the House of Lords and stuff. And I flew all the way to India to attend a conference with these Namdari Sikhs. And I gave a talk on a dais with thousands of people listening, and they showed me the museum. And it's shocking what the British have done, because the British tried to crush this Sikh movement. And this is why the British had to leave India, it was stupid, right? They captured the ringleaders of the Namdari Sikhs, and they strapped them to a cannon, and they fired a cannonball through the body, and the guy dies. And this was to show, like, you don't mess with the British, we're a superpower. But that's bestial. So this guy loved me because I wasn't bestial. And I was director of the School of Non-Violence for the Gandhi Foundation in the building where Gandhi lived. And, we're still working, that's another project in the 99 Names of Peace, is the School of Non-Violence. I still want to find a way that we manage our affairs non-violently,
Yeah.
So that's the Namdari Sikhs, and they're still going. The chap I met, was a beautiful, long white beard, turban. And the Sikhs don't cut their hair, they let it grow. And when it gets really long, they then wind it up and put it under the turban.
Oh, I see.
And when I slept over in the Sikh house, they're tremendously hospitable. They'll feed you their last meal. And the only thing I'm slightly sad about is when I stayed over in the Sikh village, Namdhari, I left my boots there. I had a fantastic pair of desert boots, which I left, I don't know how. So if anyone finds them, please mail them to me in France, because they were like, I've got super huge feet, 14s. Yeah. They were super deluxe, best desert boots, size 14s. And they're in the little village at in Bani Sahib, I think it's called.
I don't think they'll fit any Indians, but
you never know, so put it out there. No, so that's the Namdhari Sikhs.
Thank you.
Amazing people, and more details I've got there, literature and books, and any questions about that one?
not particularly question. I got
some info.
Some side info, totally irrelevant probably to the philosophy club. But do you realise that turbans is in UK at least is a legal headwear for driving a motorcycle if you're a Sikh.
Whoa!
Okay. You don't have to have the helmet.
You don't have to have a helmet if you're a Sikh.
How?
You're allowed to ride 100 miles an hour on a motorbike.
Well, they are quite protective. I mean, if you wrap them round properly.
Yeah.
I don't know the statistics of how many Sikhs who've survived crashes with a turban on.
I met one that had recently crashed, like half an hour before we got there.
Oh, wow.
He'd broken his leg.
Oh, well, that's...
The head was fine.
Head was fine.
Because you used to ride motorbikes, right?
Yeah.
Is that your thing?
I did that until last summer when I was when my bike was written off after an accident with an old geezer in North Wales that decided to just shoot out onto the road where it was a main road, and I was coming down that way. Just
yeah. So yeah, I've steered away from bikes because I decided I had too much philosophical work to do, and it was silly to jeopardise my life, you know. Because it's a hassle to get reborn and come back as a baby and have to reassemble all the library and
keep
stuff.
going and going.
But I have many friends who were bikers. One of them is Terry Dobney, who was a dear friend of mine, the Archdruid of Avebury. He's no longer with us. Terry, hello, but the Druid Order carries on. I'm hoping Sophie will be buried there. And she met Terry. Okay, so last thing we're going to do one God card. And I think it's your turn to do. We'll do two. We'll do one each there. Because it's been quite a week.
Hi, you can say that.
You know, life and death are not a pushover. They're challenging. So let's see what the gods want to say.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
You want me to hold it for you?
Yeah, you choose. Okay. So what have you got? Noah?
Let's see.
Let's have a look.
Okay, 9 of Earth, Kubera.
That's very interesting.
Number 4, Jupiter Zeus.
That's interesting too. Okay, so let me just share about this. This is the Hindu god of wealth, Kubera, and what's interesting is I've been writing up for the last 3 days sort of life's chronicle for Sophia's life, particularly in the last little while, you know, leading to her death, trying to figure out why it had happened and who's to blame and all that. And last year I went to Bournemouth and met Sophia there, and we taught a course on enlightenments at a retreat centre in Bournemouth, well, Poole actually, where I used to be head of philosophy and religious studies in the grammar school. And I was just looking at this because I kept notes and all that. And we did a tarot reading at the end of the course. I took the God Tarot with me. And Sophie drew this card. You know, you weren't to know that. That's like Sophie, one could say, sending some kind of a sign. It's like, I'm okay, Dad, you know, I'm with Kubera and I'm with the gods.
I'm in the club tonight.
I'm in the club. And it stands for wealth, which is, I mean, Sophie, you know, her wealth was her heart and her love and her truth. And that lives on through us and through you and everyone and her family. And she was priceless, you know, like what is... So, thank you for getting that card. And it's an Earth card, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Which number of Earth?
9.
Let me just see if there's anything, because there's a text that comes with this. 9 of Earth is a sacred number. They're all sacred, of course. Stands for rest. And
Again.
sorry?
Again, it stands for rest, you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Also a coincidence, or is it a message?
What? Her rest, her
Yeah.
being at rest. Yeah. So he's a Deva, and tells a lot about him from the scriptures and stuff. He's gold, which was Sophie's favourite colour, and he's also called the King of the whole world, or the King of Kings, the Lord of Kings. So I think the other thing we can learn is that we do as a planet have to sort out wealth and money and get it distributed properly. We shouldn't have pockets of extreme poverty versus pockets of ridiculous wealth. Kubera was the treasurer of the gods. Well, Sophie was the treasurer of the World Peace Gardens Network. And, you know, so, yeah, so learning to use our wealth as a planet, I think, is what Kubera is saying to us and what Sophie's saying. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about the Fabians and the Labour Party. I mean, at least they're trying now in Britain to sort that problem. We can do better. And often wealth and poverty, that's one of the reasons for conflict. That's why we have to equalise access to wealth. So anyway, it's a great card. Thank you for that. Thank you, Sophie.
Yes.
Yeah. And then what's your one?
Number 4, Jupiter Zeus.
Yes. Well, here is the card equivalent to the Emperor in normal tarot decks, and this is a tarot of the gods, so it's not a normal one. And that's the king of the gods, or the emperor of the gods, Jupiter. For the Roman emperors, Jupiter is like, the buck stops there with Jupiter, you know. I've been to Rome, and I've been to the Capitoline Hill, which is the old heartland of Rome, and there's a temple up there to Jupiter, which is awesome. And there's a museum called the Capitoline Museum, if you ever get there. In the Greek tradition, he was called Zeus. So the card shows only like a mountain with thunder and lightning coming from it, because he would communicate with thunder and lightning. So if the gods want to send a message, they would send a lightning bolt. It's interesting that there were temples to Jupiter throughout, the empire, and the legal system depended on taking an oath to the emperor and to the king of the gods. In Greece, he was supposed to live on Mount Olympus, Zeus, with the 9 muses there doing the choir. And Sophie was such a lover of singing. I hope in her out-of-body state she gets to visit Mount Olympus and meets the muses out of body, because she'll also meet there Hermes, Apollo, whose room we're in, Artemis, Hera. And by the way, when I met Sophie's mother, it was through a mutual friend, and she was introduced to me as Hera. Oh, there's Hera coming. She was the wife of Zeus, but they didn't always get on. It's a long story. Also, she'll meet Aphrodite and Athena, who was Athena's very important. She was Sophia. Athena Sophia is the daughter of Zeus, and she was mind-born, so not conceived in a normal way, but a sort of mind-born daughter. And Athena became the goddess of wisdom, and hence Sophia is a manifestation or avatar of Athena, or is it the other way round? And when I was in Athens, I was absolutely, I love Athens, it's my home, other home. And I discovered, interestingly enough, Athena's supposed to be a virgin, but secretly she was the lover of Prometheus, who brought fire to mankind. They had a secret love affair, wisdom affair, which I discovered when I was in Athens doing some research. And it's in the book under Prometheus, who's got his own card. So I just hope Sophie, Athena, whatever we call her, can find her Prometheus in the afterlife, because she sure didn't find him here. The quality of men is going downhill these days, in my experience. Present company accepted. And that's why I did a Tarot of the Gods. I wanted our young men to realise the importance of masculinity and using it wisely, to be able to meet these strong women, like my daughter was, at their level, instead of just being, boy fiends. Where's the real strong men now? You guys are. That's great, but we need more. And that's why I've done the Tarot of the Gods. So the final thing I would say about today's Philosophy Club is, if you're watching this and you realise the importance of what we're saying, buy a copy of this and give it to a bloke that someone that needs to get their masculinity upskilled and take the gods more seriously. Because this is sacred knowledge I've given out here, really precious. And I think if the young men in our world started realising what we're supposed to be doing with our masculinity, then we wouldn't be fooling around and being boy fiends, So that's we've got 2 amazing gods today. We've got Kubera from India, which Sophie adored, and we've got Zeus and Jupiter from Europe. Okay, any questions, comments?
Not that related to the Kubera or Zeus, but you said something about Sophie being the treasury of the garden?
Yes, so I run this thing called the World Peace Gardens Network.
Yes, I heard of that.
Which is different gardens all over the world dedicated to peace. I think your garden is one, obviously. You've got a huge garden. We'll have to make you a plaque, and then you put the plaque up, and it becomes official. It was founded by my dear friend Geoffrey Gale, who knew Sophie. He was a lovely man living in Totnes in Devon, which is where the bank of the World Peace Gardens is. So all Czechs welcome, World Peace Gardens, and then it can go into Sophie's bank account, which she is no longer able to run, but will get another treasurer to take on that. And the idea is if we got gardens in all parts of the world, like somebody's trying to get one in Norway, in Oslo, there are some in Canada and America, and I wrote to the Pope Francis saying, would he make the Vatican Gardens a member of the World Peace Gardens Network? I'm still waiting for the letter, the reply. It's probably someone...
Well, he's got to send it in a divine way, no?
Well, I hope so. And, so yes, I just thought we humans should be doing gardens, sacred gardens, peace gardens. And Sophie loved this project. And that's why she agreed to be the treasurer.
But Bente really wants to have a garden to work on and maybe plant some vegetables and flowers, nice flowers and bushes and stuff.
Well, we'll have to find, I've got my little terrace. She can start there with the potted plants.
True.
She's welcome to become honorary gardener.
She just got a small olive tree for her birthday last week.
Oh, was it her birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
29th of April.
So she's Taurus as well?
Probably.
Yeah, same as me. All right. Say happy birthday. Right, well, blessings. Let's all, and as Voltaire said, final point here for the Philosophy Club. Another strange synchronicity. I had a visit on the day after I'd heard of Sophie's death, I had the Jehovah's Witnesses turn up. I've known them for a while, locally, and one of them is a direct descendant of Voltaire. Arouet is the family name. And she's a lovely lady, and I've had long philosophical discussions with her, and I was able to say through my tears, I've just heard news, my daughter suddenly died, and she was very, very compassionate and caring, and it was nice to talk to someone, because I hadn't slept at all that night. But then we got on to bigger picture stuff, and she said, Thomas, the whole world's going down, but don't worry, it's all under God's plan. God's judgment is coming. The world is going to be destroyed.
Again.
And only a few will be saved. Okay, so I said, well, I'm not quite sure about that philosophy. I'm trying to save the world. I want peace. I'm trying to stop the wars. Oh no, you can't do that, she said, because it's in the Bible. Armageddon's coming. It's going to be the end of the world. The last judgment's coming. And it's an unavoidable, catastrophic global war's going to happen. There's nothing you can do. And I said, well, I don't think I agree with that philosophy. I've read the Bible too, and I don't read it like that. Okay, it's in the book of Revelations, but that was a text written nearly 2,000 years ago, and I'm free as an intellectual to comment and to critique and to study it, and to disagree with that interpretation you're giving me, I said. And I'm more in tune with Voltaire, that you're descended from, who was a Freemason and a Druid, than I think you are. Because I'm trying to save the world. I don't believe in a God, I said. I don't care what name you use, who would willingly destroy this world completely. All the trees, the birds, the people, the villages, the forests, everything in some nuclear war. And that's a good thing. I believe in a God that would, like Sophie, would walk 100 miles to save the planet, that would plant a garden, that would do what Voltaire said, cultivate your own garden. He never said, cultivate your own garden till the end of the world comes and the nuclear bombs go off. No, the point was to save this planet through our love of nature, through our love of ecology and each other humans. And so we disagree, me and that particular.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a friendly way. And that to me, I think Sophie would agree with me, I hope. She can send good vibes to save this planet. Get the angels pouring love and grace down into the minds of the crazy people that do all the killings and stuff.
Yeah.
Send down music into their minds. and love instead of hatred. I'm sure she's working with the Heavenly Choir as we speak, because she had a heavenly voice. And yes. Okay, well look, thanks for the question.
Hi.
Well Peace Gardens, and if anyone wants to join that, please just, email me, contact me, in honour of Sophie. Right, we'll finish there, okay?
Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you so much. Let me switch off here.